We are rooted in our community. Streamers and creators, they are the trunk. Those of us who follow loyally are the limbs and branches. The saying root and branch is defined as entirely or wholly, which is why this is the name of my new platform. For the streamers and creators that will be my guests are 100% in on making a change, speaking their minds, and expanding others. Welcome to Root and Branch. Hello, everybody! I see I got some of my regular offenders in the chat. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. I don't know how many of you know this guy, but I've seen him a couple times around and never got a chance to talk to him. And so we're going to get to know him today and see where all this goes. So everybody say hi to Mr. Speed and Speed of Sound.
And hello back.
Do you go by your real name?
Mike, Speed of Sound, whatever.
Okay.
Most people call me Speed, so for short.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, like a good drug on a Saturday night. All right, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, and there's a little bit of history there that we might get into too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I start out by asking everybody the same question. Just let us know a little bit about how you grew up and the dynamics of that, and whatever you're comfortable talking about.
Okay. Grew up on a farm in northern Minnesota with a crazy Irish woman and a bohunk or a Pollock. I don't know what you want to call them. And dad was an alcoholic, iron miner, and I got into science at a very, very, very early age. My mom tried to take me to church for about 2 years from 6 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her that it wasn't my thing. So that was my entire experience with being a Christian, I think. For 2 years.
Nipped it in the bud right away. Good for you.
Nipped it in the bud early. And then I went through and got more and more into science. And then, of course, got into puberty, unfortunately, and became crazy. And started changing and drinking and going through a lot of teenage angst and a lot of psychological problems. Very bad bipolar depression combined with with a developing alcoholism, and at the same time trying to educate myself in science and trying to make sense out of a crazy shitty school in Minnesota,
Yeah.
And I ended up dropping out in 11th grade, and then I ended up getting married at 17, having a kid right away.
Wow.
Going to work in the mines and kicking around up there and just getting more and more wasted. And of course, this was 1968, 69, 70. So drugs happened.
Oh, yeah. They were everywhere.
Yeah, drugs happened in a big way. But in the meantime, I got into, me and a friend were pretty much into philosophy. We got into Nietzsche and all the crazy existentialist dark philosophers, from the West. And then we found a guy named Alan Watts, and I ended up becoming a Buddhist, a secular Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
And I've identified with that ever since. And it pretty much changed my life.
Oh, interesting.
And I had a very interesting experience, which I call a spiritual experience that lasted for about 3 days that basically shaped the rest of my life.
Okay.
And it would have shaped it in a positive way had it not been for the alcoholism and the drug abuse.
Yeah.
So I had these two forces that were opposing, and it wasn't until a long life of trying to handle alcohol and not being able to, trying to handle drugs and not being able to, that I finally came to a point. I've been sober for 15 years on this last run, and I finally brought that secular Buddhism back around full circle
Okay.
and blended it into. But at the same time, I identify as a hard atheist, and I'm not an agnostic. I don't believe that it's possible for there to be a God. And I am a strict naturalist. In other words, I see everything in terms of naturalism and science, and that's how I interpret and figure out the world. And
Okay. Fair enough.
But at the same time, having this secular Buddhist side, where I understand that I am a human organism, and I have a psychology that's very much one with nature and one with everybody else in the universe and all other organisms. And that's just how I deal with my own life and mortality, when I think about it.
Yeah.
And when I think about, and I'm at the stage right now of being 70 years old where death is knocking on my door, right?
Well,
Within
I don't know.
20, 30 years, 5, 10, 20, I don't know. But
we have a patient at work that's 99, and every time it's her birthday, she'll say, "We need some margaritas." And she'll get one of her grandkids to go make margaritas because, they're like 20 something.
Yeah.
And she's been doing the same thing with the grandkid every time. She's like, "Go get me a margarita." So she brings it over and hands it to her. She takes 2 sips and then she goes, "Here." And she hands it to her when her mom's not looking, even though she's like 20 something now. She's been doing it for years with her. And so the kid always said she was like 18. She's ended up with grandma's drinks. She just keeps doing it. So you never know, Mike. You could be 110. We don't know. You might have a long time yet.
A lot of it's attitude, and then they could drop a meteor or a building or a plane on me tomorrow. So
genes. It's all about those genes, whether they're good or not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've come to terms with fear. Basically, fear of death is something that I had from the time I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
The minute I found out that I could die, I was dealing with that all my life. So I've had a long history of putting together my own mortality and what happens. And the interesting thing is, the Buddhist aspect is you understand that being a self or being an I is sort of an illusion anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of a passing thing. And you come to terms with the idea that, like, when I look at some youngster down the street jumping up and down and just taking on the world as I did some 60 years ago.
Yeah.
I consider that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I keep this identity, right? I can let it go and die and give it to some other creature.
Yeah. Okay.
Or give it to the stars of the universe. It just doesn't matter. And the wonderful thing about life is that, like, so death is a lot like before I was born, while I was still dead, which is kind of what it was like, right?
Yep.
And then afterwards, and there's an eternity going backwards, from before I was born, and an eternity going forward from after I'm dead.
Yep.
And then there's this in-between thing, and I will always have been, which is really a stunning thing to me. I'm so grateful that I got to be at all. That I got that I'm here right now. And so I started moving more into the moment and really appreciating the fact that I'm alive. And that ends up being sounding a hell of a lot like some of the things that religious people talk about as far as the feeling of it, right? Because because you're totally free. You can give up. And as soon as you die, you're kind of blasted into eternity, and you are all things again. You are not nothing. You are all things again. So the Buddhists look at the time while we're alive as being a time when we're fooled into thinking we are just this and nothing more. Oh, a kitty.
Right. Yeah, they do that. They love to walk in front of the camera.
Yeah,
sometimes we count how many times per stream.
Right. I got 2 of them, and I'm surprised they're not up here. Right? Yeah, but it's just an interesting way to deal with it, and it sounds like all of the things that religious people talk about, the benefits they get. I like to
Yeah.
think that I have those anyway, but I don't have any dogma to go with it, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah, that's true.
anyway,
You know,
yeah,
out of all the religions, the Buddhist side of it makes the most amount of sense to me.
yeah.
Like just find your peace, treat everybody else good, you know, just have a good life. Like that's
Yeah.
the best thing I've honestly ever heard. So
Yeah, and the less selfish you are, and the more, I guess, the more good things you do, the more peace you get yourself. You know, it just keeps reflecting backwards. You know, if you're irritated individual and you're mad at everybody all the time, and which kind of brings me to our YouTube channel, but it tends to, it makes you unhappy. You know, whereas if you do something nice for somebody, you just feel right. And that's the kind of beast we are.
Yeah.
So why not just embrace it, you know?
Yeah, you know, I spent years in jobs that I didn't feel like I was helping a soul. I was just working for big companies and just running on that damn gerbil wheel, you know, constantly.
Yeah.
And I did spend some time helping people, and then looked back and thought, that's when I was at my happiest.
Yeah.
So so I let my pay drop down a lot of money per hour, and took a job at a doctor's office, because I can finally fucking do something good, you know. And I might be starting at the bottom of it, but yeah. So no, I agree with that. Yeah, I think if everybody just, like, even just once a week, just did a kind gesture for someone else, if every single one of us did it once a week, it would be happening a lot more.
Yeah.
And it only takes 5 minutes, 3 minutes,
pay
2
somebody's
minutes.
groceries, or hand somebody something, or whatever.
Yeah.
I was at Costco yesterday, and I couldn't get I was trying to get a 800 sheet ream of paper out of a box.
Mm-hmm.
And a young guy stopped over and said, "Here, sir," and he gets it out for me. And it was like, and it was just that little gesture, and I felt good for like 30 minutes, and I bet he felt good for 4 hours, you know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, you know, it's the nature of what we are. It's the kind of organism we are, and a moral organism. We're moral creatures. You know, we care about each other. And if you don't buck that, if you don't fight it, you're happier overall.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of my morality, which I think the preceptors are always asking about.
Well, it's hard for people who don't think like that to understand those of us who do. Yeah. So that's for sure. Because, you know, I mean, the bottom line is a lot of us are just selfish people, and most of them don't even know they are. They don't think they're a bad person. They just, you know, it's not necessarily they're a bad person either, but, you know, they don't realize that they're being selfish in their daily life, and what that's doing to them. So
a lot of them don't look very happy to me.
No, they sure as hell don't, do they?
You know, the Karens of the world, they don't look so happy when they're being Karen, do they?
No, they really don't.
Yeah. I'm guessing they don't sleep well afterwards either, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're so damn crabby, Mike. Lack of sleep.
Yeah, could be. No sleep.
Could be. So you and I were talking before we started, and you were saying that you're the middle child of 7 kids.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that a little bit, and where that brought you in life?
Well, it's an odd thing. Like I related to you, when I was 2 years old, I was the youngest, and my 9-year-old brother got killed in a car accident that all of us kids were in.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, my mom went into my parents weren't in the car. It was just us kids. And with my older brother, he was 14 driving. And one of us got killed. I got broken hips and black eyes and stuff like that, but had to learn to walk all over again. But the effect of it was that my mom was in this depression. My dad started drinking. My siblings gathered around me, and they basically treated me as the baby. And I got a whole lot of, I think I got a really good start toward an intellectual life because of the amount of time that they spent with me. I mean, they spent a tremendous amount of time with. They were always guarding me, around me. So I ended up being the youngest child in a way. And then I
Yeah.
had two siblings born 5 and I think 7 years after that. So, but I ended up getting that youngest child effect, and I think it really had an impact on my life. And when I look back at the poetry of what happened, it really is like with any family tragedy. It has pieces and parts and bittersweet, and I think it really shaped who I am. It really made a difference. My mother, when she came out of the depression, paid so much attention to me, and I just got like lavished with attention, right?
Yeah.
And
A lot of love and time. Yeah.
yeah, and then I got into science at a very like 7, 8 years old, and I wanted to be a scientist, but I ended up becoming a computer programmer because of money.
Yeah.
Made a ton of money, and I got back into studying molecular biology, neuroscience, philosophy, and things like that back around 21 years ago. So I've been
Wow.
self educating. Right now, I'm working very hard on developing expertise in molecular biology of the cell, and that's my primary focus right now until I
Wow.
find a new topic. 10 years ago, it was neuroscience, and I spent a long time educating myself in neuroscience,
Yeah.
and so that's what I'm doing with the rest of my life. I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I pull out textbooks and I just start learning, and it's absolutely wonderful. So
Wow. That's great. That's
that's
great. You
pretty
could do that, just like pick up that book and absorb it.
and
Not all of us have that.
yeah, it's having the interest to do it, and I've always had that. It's just that for all those years that I was programming, I concentrated on programming languages and computer science, but now I'm back to my childhood dream when I was 9 years old of trying to become a scientist, right? So I'm working on
Yeah. No, that's great. Good for you. It's good that you
it.
have that you were able to retire and spend that time doing what
Yeah.
you want. That's great. That's
Then
very
I
impressive.
stumbled into YouTube.
What am I doing here?
I don't know. Like I told you, you caught me right smack in the middle of an existential crisis over my YouTube channel, right? It's
He's
like,
in a YouTube existential crisis, everybody. Wait, let's see if we
yep.
can help him out a little bit. So,
And
are you what is are you having trouble seeing where you're going forward with it, what the goal is, or what is it?
yeah, it turns out I don't have a lot of skills to make really good videos like I want to. Educational videos, quippy videos like Gutsick Gibbon or whatever.
Yeah.
Their talent is so much beyond mine. So if I want to do this, if I want to turn it into a educational YouTube channel, I'm going to have to work my ass off for the next 2 years. But I got time, So
Yeah, well,
that's
that's always a
kind of what I
plus.
want to do. But then in the meantime, I've become sort of a community hangout, and we have what I call shit shows. I have the weather report every day from 4 p.m. until 6.
Okay.
Yeah, we managed to do a little bit of science and do a little taking down on the creationists. And
Right.
then we open the channel up and everybody gets on, and it kind of deteriorates from there. And then I have something called Saturday Night at the Atheist that I do on Saturday or Sunday, because of course we atheists have no basis because we don't believe in God for the days of the week. So I don't give a shit if it's on Saturday or
Right.
Sunday.
Who cares, right?
Yeah, we don't care. But yeah, we're just
True.
crazy that way. So
Yeah.
I have those, and SNATA, I call it, Saturday Night at the Atheist, SNATA, yeah, which is kind of
Okay.
a play on acronyms. SNATA or Santa is the other word that you can make out of it. I don't know what else you can make out of that. But anyway, so we have that on, in my band of demonic hyenas is what the creationists call me. And we get together and we just make fun of them, and we play rough, we play real rough. But then I'm sort of like on the weather report, I'm kind of like, we've gone really hard on a few people, and I'm kind of feeling bad about it.
That's one of the reasons on my channel I just don't let I don't let people attack each other. And
but
it's not because I don't want people to speak their minds. I don't mind if people are respectful about it, but if you start that, then you get a bunch of assholes in your chat.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah,
people
but
go, oh, there's a shit show over here. Let me
Right.
go throw some more wood in the fire. And
Yeah.
I don't like that. I like this to be like a safe, you can be yourself. Everybody's respectful and everybody loves each other's space. And that's lucky enough to have these amazing people that are in the chat right now that are come around every time. And they're always like that. And, the mods are great. And if I have an issue or somebody's an issue in there and I will tell them, leave them alone. And I'm going to tell you right now, chill out or you're getting booted. And I give everybody a chance kind of thing, So, I just can't do that dumpster fire stuff. It's just stressful and then you feel bad afterwards.
We don't quite get to dumpster fire levels too often. I usually moderate it or, keep a certain group of people around, but I've had a couple of individuals in that attack me personally. And I decided to start booting them. And then, of course, everybody's pissed off. Oh, let them in, let them in. And I'm like, you know what? I don't feel good when they're in my room. And I wouldn't go out to dinner with them. Why in the hell should I spend, 2 hours in the afternoon with them? So I've been finding my way through that and trying to calm it down a little bit, just trying to get back to something a little safer. And then on Saturday night, I do want to have that Saturday night at the Atheist where all hell can break loose. But I don't know if you know Gur Streams or Gur Mania. But
I've seen Gur around. I don't know Gur, but I've seen Gur around.
Yeah, he has great streams, and the really cool thing is that he has a total shit show on Gur Streams, and I can just turn it over to him and say, here guys, go over there. And there you go. Have all the fights you want and let Gur handle it. And I'm okay with that. So me and him kind of work together on it. So I don't know.
Well, I hate to tell you, Mike, but if you really want to spread out on YouTube and get more people and everything, you're going to have to get on Twitter.
Yeah. God,
Twitter totally changed my YouTube world and brought me a lot of people and I met a lot of people and it was really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you got to think of things to say, right?
No, I don't put anything I don't use the feed at all. You can ask anybody that knows me. Once in a while, I'll be like, look at this cool idiot picture, or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or I'll retweet something that I think is meaningful, But I just basically use it for the DMs and I communicate with all of these people in the chat through the DMs of Twitter.
Well, I'm on Twitter, but I don't always announce my shows. It's Answers in Atheism at Troll in Your Basement, I think.
There you go. Okay.
It's a Twitter thing. But I got a few followers, but I could do better. I just hate the platform so much. I mean, I've developed software for 40 years. Yeah. And I have a low tolerance for crappy user interfaces. And Twitter sucks. It could be better. It could be better. Same reason I don't like Facebook. It just sucks.
Well, I don't like Facebook because people just like to cause drama on it and talk shit about each other. And,
right.
So I don't do well with that myself.
Yeah.
And just so you guys, for any of you that don't know Mike and want a link to his channel, it is right there. So check him out and show him some love. And, if you ever need some extra people on or something on a Saturday night, holler at me. I'm usually most of the time free. I'm not this Saturday night, but normally I'm free and we have a bunch of people, like all these people in the chat that will come over and hang out and have good discussions and gets people on the live stream. Yeah. Just let me know.
Yeah.
I can grab you a handful if you ever want some extra, some different perspectives maybe. So, I actually think it would be great if you talk to student Dr. Ben. Do you know him?
No.
Okay. I basically adopted him. He's like my little brother. So he is a third-year med student and is really involved in debunking bullshit and loves to talk about science and stuff. So he'd probably be
love to have him on.
Yeah, he'd probably be a good guy for you to grab. I don't know shit about science. I just call myself comic relief everywhere I go.
Yeah. So I'm interviewing Dr. Fazrana. or Fuzzrana tomorrow. Do you know
Okay.
who that is?
No.
He's a creation, not a creationist, but a intelligent designer.
Okay.
And he's written a few books. He's been on Standing for Truth channel, if you know him, and
Yep.
and hangs around. I think he works for Reasons to Believe. I think it is. That's who he works for.
That one.
So I'm interviewing him tomorrow. We interview a few scientists, and that works out pretty good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping to do something I call the story of evolution, where I try to explain why a molecular biologist believes in evolution in enough detail to give the average person an understanding of how it works, that sort of thing. So I guess if I were to state a goal of where I really wanted the channel to go, it would be to accomplish that and to get some ideas out there. And then I guess the other ideas I have is from neuroscience. Is I have a very kind of a different view on consciousness and what consciousness is, and how science basically can tell us right now what consciousness is, but nobody wants to listen, because even atheists still hang on in a way to an idea of a spirit mind, that our mind is, something immaterial. Right. And I have a very materialistic, physicalist idea of the mind. And I'd like to do some of that philosophy too. So I guess the reason I'm on YouTube is because, I'm getting older. I have ideas. I would like to change some minds,
Yeah.
Or at least throw some seeds out there so that we could get some new thinking going on, which would be cool. So
that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. I mean, I have a good handful of science-minded people that live stream. So if you ever want anybody want to interview somebody or whatever, if Randolph doesn't know them and hasn't told you about them already.
Yep. Randolph
or one of those other guys. What Randolph? If you're on Discord, please feel free to advertise your upcoming streams on there. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Randolph. Yeah. I just forget about Discord. I've been using Twitter for like 2 years now, and I just forget that I even own a Discord, unless it's something to do with the groups I'm in directly. So,
Twitter is like Satan, and Facebook is like 10 times worse. Like it should be called face fuck.
Yeah.
And but Discord makes all of those things look like heaven.
Yeah, it's true. I think Discord's a pain in the ass. I personally like everything. There's so many. They give you all these options to put all these different categories in, and then like I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, I can't find the fucking where's the live show link?
Know.
There's so many fucking So the shills did that to me for a long time until I figured out where the fuck it was. I was like, send it to me in a private message. I can't find it. It's 3 minutes till the show.
Right.
So it drove me up the freaking wall.
It all does. Twitter, I get a Twitter notification on my iPhone. I click on it. I put my finger on the fingerprint, and it pops up, and it's gone. And then I go back, and it's like, oh, fuck, where did it go? And it already gave me the message, so it got rid of it, right? So I never see the tweet again.
Oh my God.
And so for the rest of my life, I have to wonder what the hell they were talking about. And
no, you have to go under your notifications and then go under your mentions.
Is that what it is?
2 tabs in there.
Okay.
If you go in there, you'll see anything that anybody tagged you in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know either. No one told me shit. I just started clicking on shit one day. I was bored and high, and I was just playing with all the websites going, what does this do? What does this do? That's how I figured it out.
Yeah, and then I try to follow a thread of conversation, and it just like you lose it, and it's like
that's what I hate about it. Because if someone mentions something and you like I have my notifications off for almost everybody on Twitter because I just don't have time for all of it.
Yeah.
But I have Ben on there, and because he's my brother, I have him on there, and so his notification will come up, and I click on it, and he says something, and I'm like, "What was this response to?" Right. And then I have trouble getting back to the main response, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, "What the fuck is the point in this?"
I know
if it was just connected, just leave it connected. You don't have to separate it. But that's the one thing about Twitter that drives me up the wall. They do
Yeah,
separate it, and then I don't even know. And then sometimes I'll see somebody else comment, and I can get to it, and I'm like, oh, that was
yeah,
a month ago, you know.
yeah. You find it
So
again.
yeah, I just don't even mess with any of that. I just use the messaging, and I'm in some groups on there, and you know, some
Yep.
creator groups and some atheist and some, well, you guys know in the chat because you guys are in them, and some just bullshitting, we're talking crap, and we're going to throw a link in here every so once in a while group.
Yep.
But so it's handy for that. I like being in the groups where, you know, I would like to, honestly, I'd like to do what I did I made my own Discord, and I just brought everybody in that I just love to death. That's like all inclusive, you know, good people kind of thing that are here all the time. I brought in like that group of people. It's only like 15, 20 people. And I still forget that I have a server on there, Mike.
Yeah. And then you invite Darth Dawkins.
Oh no, fuck that bastard. Sorry. I was listening on my phone when him and my brother had a conversation about a year and a half ago, I guess. Yeah. And he was an absolute dick. And
he is a dick.
If that motherfucker walked up in front of me and said, "Hey, I'm Darth," I would fucking punch him in the face.
You hit him.
Like anybody named Darth, don't introduce yourself to me because I will probably punch you. Because you might be that guy and I don't know what you look like.
Right.
So I do want to pause for a second because I saw in the chat a little while ago that Colin Powell died today. I don't know what he died of, but somebody said something. That is absolutely sad.
He died of COVID complications.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
But it's not real, Mike. It's fake. It's fake news.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and of course, he was fully vaccinated, but he was 84 and he had cancer, so he's being treated.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
And I just want to point out that I looked up the stats on that, and 0.5% of the people that are dying of COVID are vaccinated.
Yes.
So yeah, 99% of them are not vaccinated. Those are the people
correct.
that are dying.
99 point something, right?
Yeah, before somebody jumps on the fact that he died and he was vaccinated. Yeah, that was very sad. I had hopes for that guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I liked him. Years and years ago, I was married to a guy trying to pretend like something I wasn't, and his father loved Colin Powell, and I was really shocked because his dad he didn't. I mean, I knew he wasn't prejudiced, but he just seemed like that guy that would always like vote for the white Republican guy, And when he was like, "Oh, Colin Powell's the best thing," and I looked at him like, "Really, Tom? Oh my God, that's amazing! You're more open-minded than I thought." But he was the first person that ever got me looking at Colin Powell, and I've just appreciated him ever since. And he was just a good guy that and I think that's why he never went up any higher. Only the assholes get up higher.
Yeah, they wanted him to
be in
run
somebody's pocket.
They wanted him to run for president, but I guess his wife wouldn't let him.
Yeah, that was God. What was that? 90? Oh my God, when was that? 2000? I don't remember now. It was a long time ago. They wanted him to run.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyway, so good luck to you, Colin Powell, and wherever the rest of you goes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sad. It really is. We've lost a lot of good people in the last 2 years. Not just COVID, but just people getting old. Oh, that's okay. I froze on my stream before Mike and came back 20 minutes later and everybody was still going. It's okay. I was literally like, fuck.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, they're still going. I'm like, did you miss me at all? And they're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think the only other thing I'd like to mention is that I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic, and I make it public.
There you go.
Because I've overcome a lot in my life through education and help from a bunch of wonderful people.
Yeah.
And wonderful programs and things like that. And I like to make it public because anybody that needs help or needs advice or wants to know anything at all about drugs and alcoholism, the only goddamn thing the way that I can make sense of the pain and the crap I've been through in my life is to use it and its wisdom and give it back and give it away. So, and I kind of make that, and God, I just recently had a Christian attack me because I have made it public, which is really, don't do that to people.
Yeah. No.
When people show you their underbelly, you don't gotta bite it.
Yeah, I know you really
Let's
don't.
go with it.
And you know,
But
Mike,
anyway,
I'm gonna say I appreciate that. I appreciate that
yeah,
you do that because I did the same thing on my channel. Like anybody can go back and look at the first mental health stream I did. I was bawling my eyes out and spilling my
yeah,
guts because I wanted everybody that was coming over to my channel to know that not only one, what I understand, but two, it's okay to say whatever you got to say here.
right.
So
Yeah,
I did that same thing, and no, that's good. Good for you.
yeah,
That's awesome. I'm
yep,
glad you did that. You know, I think it's important for us for people that are in a bad spot. Quit stepping on my computer, you little crapper. That are in a bad spot to know that there's other people out there that understand. You know, like we were
yeah,
talking about, you have grief in your life, but it's hard to find that one person that's like,
yeah,
oh, I get what you mean, and you're like,
yeah,
you do? Where have you
yeah,
been? I've been trying to find you for 20 years. You know.
right, right.
So yeah,
Yep.
no, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah, we need each other. So
Yeah,
okay.
no, we do. We do. So, everybody, hey, Ox, throw that link in for the after party for me. I'm not fancy like Neil. Mine doesn't just flip over to the after party when we're done. And you have the link, right, Mike?
I do.
In your
I
email?
do.
Okay, perfect. All right. I sent it out on Twitter and everything. We'll kill this and give Mike and me 5 minutes to go take a piss. Everybody grab a snack. And then Mike said he's good for about a 30-minute talk. So if you want to talk, you better come on right away and give him a shout.
Okay.
All right. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you. If I do not see you over at the after party, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another and have some peace in your life.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.